you have a number of talents artistically, from drawing to modeling to acting. How did you choose which one you wanted to go with for your career path?
Actually, I just kind of stumbled into modeling. I was working at a modeling agency doing sales and telemarketing and teaching modeling classes. And there was a job that came along from 20th Century Fox. And they're very specific with measurements. They want to know your chin to your chest bone or your neck bone and, your waist, and not just the normal measurements, right? They want to know, what it is from your hip to your knee. They were very, very specific, and they were having trouble finding somebody with the specific measurements. And they stumbled in my office and said, "Hey, we've got this gig. It's a 20th Century Fox. Would you be interested? We need to measure you." And it just kind of took off from there. And more jobs came in and fashion jobs. And then I was with the agency for a while and then decided to become a free agent. And being a free agent, I got picked up by a couple other companies, and they sponsored my work, and it just kind of evolved from there. So I'm an IT nerd at heart, so I'm always on the computer doing geeky, nerdy things, but that's kind of how I fell into it.
And speaking of computer, you've done Webisodes. How does that differ from acting on a set to acting for the internet?
I really think it's kind of one and the same, I think in a lot of roles that I would pick, I would prefer one that kind of syncs up with my personality. But I enjoy any of it, so I think it just kind of brings me out and shows who I am. But I think it's kind of the same. The only thing I'd say with like movie roles, commercials are obviously more scripted. I've done some of those. So they want, you to smile bigger or smile less or talk louder or not talk louder. And those are all different. But I think for the movie roles, I just relate whatever the scene is, whatever emotion they're trying to capture into something that relates to my life, whether it's something that has affected me as a person or something traumatic, and just kind of bring that part of me into the role, and it just works.
And for yourself, is it easier to go with a script rather than improv?
I guess it depends what it is. With a script, there's probably less room for error, and in some of the commercial work that I've done, they're very specific, and you miss one word, they're like stop tape, cut, redo, and they have to go back and start over. But the ones that don't have a script can obviously be a little chaotic, and you're wondering what to do next, and if a scene is going to be cut, if it's going to be the next day, if you're waiting for 5 hours. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. That so I'm just really game for anything. It's more the role and the acting and the participation, and that's what makes me engage. So I'm game on to do anything.
Is there a role that you would love to play?
A role that I would love to play. I know there's some controversy around Angelina Jolie, but any role that she has ever done, it makes my blood boil. She's kind of an inspiration to me because she's so versatile, and I see myself the same way. And she just plays some really dynamic, creative roles.
Like the Lara Croft type role?
Oh my gosh, she's such a, can I say badass? She's such a badass, and I love it because she's, that adventurous, strong type, but she's still hot as hell. So if I could be anything remotely close to that, yeah, I'd like to do any of those roles. But even her serious side in some of the other ones where she's not, the Tomb Raider type, those, just really anything she's done, I'm totally inspired by.
Now, you're a very intelligent person. I was taking a look at your website and just talking to you over the last couple days. I mean, you've got some great insight.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's just honesty. How do you keep that in this industry? How do you keep so grounded?
I'm a person who manages by details, so when I don't have details, that probably throws me off a little bit. But I think, there's been some experiences in my life that have challenged me as a person, and I just stay grounded, realizing that we're all people. We all need to work together as a team, and I never let my head get too big because I honestly, any role I get, I see it as a privilege. Any opportunity I get is a privilege. And anything that comes my way, I look at it with, an open heart and an open eye. And I usually give everybody the benefit of the doubt with that, so I see it as a good opportunity. I think my parents have played an influential role in everything that I do. My mom is my best friend, and my dad is my mentor and my leader. and they have raised me to be a certain type of individual, and I want them to be proud of me, and I don't want to ever do anything that embarrasses my parents or disrespects my parents. And so when I have an opportunity for a job that may be considered a little sketchy, how it's written, I'll always go to my parents and ask them what they think and see their opinion, if it's something that they're comfortable with or uncomfortable with. Most of the time I can make a judgment call myself, but there was one in particular, a job that I had that was a little, I guess, risque, and I, went and talked to my parents, and I sat them down, and I really thought that my dad was going to be the one to say, I don't think so. No, you're not doing this. And my mom would be more open to it. And here my dad said, he's like, oh, this is a good opportunity. You should do this. And my mom's like, what, are you crazy? She can't do this. But I got more details on it. I ended up doing the job, and I'm glad I did, because it opened doors to meet a lot of other people, which is usually how it works out. And it turned out to be good. So I think.
And what's up next for you?
I'm not sure. I have some things in the works, a few things I can't mention yet or talk about, so I hope that's okay. But hopefully some more acting, maybe some commercial work. I used to be big into the whole Arnold Classic and fitness, and with Brock Lesnar and Diamond, and I'm still a huge, huge fan of that. But I think now this year has been my trim down and slim down year, so that's going to be one of my goals. But hopefully you guys will just find out what projects I have coming up as they come up.
And I have a question about, I saw that you think pumpkins should be carved twice a year. I did. Okay. I need to ask why that is.
Halloween is huge in my family. So Christmas and Halloween's about as big as Christmas in my family. Growing up as a kid, my parents dressed up in Halloween costumes. My brother jumped out of a tree. We're jumping out of bushes. We're inviting people in. We're doing haunted houses. My mom's covering the walls in black trash bags. I mean, it's like all out, fully decorated, thousands of dollars on stuff. So Halloween to me it's huge. And so we always get together. We carve pumpkins. I did it as a kid with my grandfather. And we always decorate. We'd even have sports players come by and say, oh, I bring my son to this house. I live in a different city, but we come over here to see this every year. So I don't know when else I would carve pumpkins, but I actually have a pumpkin still in my house now from Halloween. So I don't know, maybe I'll do it this summer or something. I almost got one to last an entire year. And then I came home one day and I had no idea that pumpkins could actually implode or explode, and it was all over the kitchen and all over the window, and I thought, okay, there is a time frame for this. So.
Now, you talked about sports stars coming by your house. I read that you've done some work in radio, co-hosting shows, and you're big into basketball.
Yes.
What started all that?
I honestly have to say that I just started watching the Cavs, and I really became a fan of watching LeBron play. He's kind of was the underdog, and he just really changed the city of Cleveland and how the sports teams are. Cleveland's really dedicated to their sports teams, and just to see him come in and finally light it up and win and take charge was great to watch and great to see all the fans. And it just made me get more involved in it, I think. And I always kind of liked basketball, and Dwayne Wade and Charles Barkley. I always liked those guys. Now so much has changed a little bit. The whole Miami thing threw me for a loop there. So he's not on my best side, but I still like the game. So.
And you still cheer for the same team?
I do. I cheer for the Cavs, but I had to take a little bit of a step back because I'm still kind of not happy about the situation. So I'll just spend some time in the woods and shoot some deer and go hunting, and I'll get over it. So.
Good. Now I have one more question for you that I ask as many guests as I can. Okay. I think you can tell a lot about a person's personality just by seeing their socks. So I'm wondering if you're wearing socks.
I must
today.
have no personality because I have no socks on.
Is that a regular thing for you?
Depends what I'm doing. So I actually took a picture of the shoes that were in my room this week, and I have boots, and I have running shoes, I have heels, I have slip-ons, and I have flip-flops. I typically wear the black low-cut socks if I'm going to wear anything, not really the white, they're always black.
And is that
the crazy socks, the ones with the patterns that come up to your knee?
Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy and fun, yeah.
I have a number of those. Is the black thing a whole not getting dirty thing?
No, I just figure if something doesn't work, whatever it is, whether it's a room or an outfit or whatever, just make it black. Black works.
And it's slimming, right?
Yes, it's slimming. At least I hope it is.
There you go. Thank you so much.
You're
I really
welcome. Thank
appreciate
you.
your time.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.